What I'm going to share with you is a real case I've been working now for 5 years. I'm going to call the girl Jenny. It's not her real name. We have just never given up on her, and we never will. We're going to keep looking. And this is a classic case of being trafficked by a professional individual or an organization. Let me just lay the groundwork for how this went down. So it's an all too common tale. A rebellious teen, and she's not really rebellious, decent student, but is not getting along with her step parent and her biological parent. I'm not going to identify their sexes again because I don't want to give too much information out. This is a classic tale. So she starts acting out, rebelling, and they thought, you know what, maybe we need to take a break. Why don't you go and live with your grandparents for a while till things cool down, you grow up a little bit, and we'll revisit this. Not necessarily a bad idea. Grandma and grandpa are happy to have her. So she moves in with grandma and grandpa, and as is so often the case, she's online and ends up meeting this guy, a slightly older boy, so she thinks, and he likes her. They connect, they start talking. Hey, let's meet, let's talk. And at one point, she starts sneaking out of the house to meet this guy. Turns out the individual, from what we know, based on the chat room activity, and these guys are masters at covering the trails, it was not a 16-year-old boy, probably somebody in the early 20s who looked young. And that's based on what activity we were able to tap into. But again, these guys are masters at covering their trails, fake identities, things called sock puppets, which is basically a fake online entity. And I'll get into that in another video. So she starts seeing this guy, and then one day her grandfather's walking past her bedroom door, which is closed, and he hears her on the phone, and she says, "I love you too. I can't wait to see you." Those were the last words her grandpa heard. That night, she goes up and missing. They don't realize it until the next day. Here's the kicker. This was definitely a professional setup. She left behind her cell phone, her bank card, anything that would leave an identifier. School ID was left behind, anything where she could leave an electronic footprint. And that's one of the big law enforcement tools, and I use them as well, are electronic footprints. So you look for these things, but they're not there now because she left it behind, and she was instructed to do so, I'm sure, by her trafficker. No cell phone, no cell towers to ping off of, or no GPS, no bank card, no activity. She was here, she made this purchase. No school ID, nothing that people could say, hey, aren't you that missing girl? That's how this went down. So she goes up and missing, and nothing was found. Even after 5 years, no electronic footprint has been found. We live in Denver, and this is one of the hot spots for human trafficking in in the nation. There are a lot of other hubs around here in the United States, eastern, western, north, south, you name it. There are various cities, but Denver, because of the intersection of I-25 and I-70, it makes it easy to transport your victims. And what often happens is, in this case, she runs away, thinks it's with a guy that she loves. Oh, I don't need my cell phone. He told me not to take my bank cards. He loves me, and he's going to take care of me for the rest of my life. This is how things go. And again, these people, they prey on the adolescent mind. So invariably, I worked this case with a retired detective who did sex trafficking files and cases for the last 10 years of his career. And we took on the case pro bono for the simple fact that the family had already hired a private investigator. And I know the guy, I'm not going to name names. He took $20,000 of their money and did nothing. He didn't have the skill set, didn't know what he was doing. He didn't know how to conduct a proper investigation. This family's now shattered, and they've spent a lot of money. So, of course, they were gun shy. We said, you know what, we'll take it on pro bono. I still work that to this day, but because there was no electronic footprint, we came to the conclusion that this was a setup from the beginning. And sadly, these operators probably have got countless victims. And the reason why is, again, it was so clean. Teenagers are not as smart as they think they are. They always slip up somewhere. They leave a note. They get back on social media. They leave electronic footprints, little breadcrumbs. Typically, in a standard runaway case, I can usually find a kid in about 24 hours, which is good because time is of the essence. You got to move quickly. So it's heartbreaking and sad, but parents, I want you to be aware of this. Share it with your children. Be aware of who they're meeting online, and they should be wary of anyone who wants to meet. And do you actually know this person? Do you have any mutual friends? Chances are probably not. So this is a very cautionary tale. I've not given up hope. I continue to work it. I've used artificial intelligence to scan the internet for facial recognition of her. There's also programs where you can take a child's photo and age them. So in this case, we've aged her 5 years. Someday we may find her. I hope so. But parents, what I shared with you is an all too common tale. And I can't say that enough, that you're ultimately responsible for your kid's safety. Maybe they're going to claim, oh, you're violating my privacy. But would you rather have them mad at you for that versus them being abducted and then victimized? So I know it's tough. Parenting is not easy. It's a challenge. I think it's gotten harder with social media in particular. But, at the end of the day, we've got to be the best advocates for our kids. All right. Thank you so much. I'm Brendan O'Neill. This is the Human Trafficking Files. Please like and subscribe and share. And if you have any questions, comments, let me know below. So thank you for watching again. As always, stay safe. Take care.